Eminence. Go throw them knees up in the air.
9, 8, 7. We have a go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack up. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack up. Rushing like a bullet into the end zone. Defense, hold up, no scoring in the red zone. Throw it up, pick 6, I feel like I'm Josh Rowe. Throwing dimes over the shoulder, think I'm Jack Winmo. I need me back to back, trying to be like Vulture. Cause a storm, cause I'm mighty, it's in the culture. Esports TV, YouTube, Twitch, SFL Live, tuning you don't wanna miss. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack them. Next level like my entertainment. NXT on the stream, 8 p.m. on the beat. Catch me on the cam like I'm SFL commish. Yeah, you only got one chance, you can never miss. For the glory, revolution, feel my fury. Cause I'm a legend out in Canton, and I'm playing with dragons. I'm the king of this legion. SFL action, tuning this season. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and...
What is up, SFL Nation? And welcome back to SFL Nights with A.J.Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decide to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. Really appreciate it, y'all. And look who I have here with me, two good friends of mine. I have first Mr. Diggy. What's going on?
Not a lot. Glad to be back. Glad to get another show going.
Hey, man. Glad to have you as always. And then I have Mr. Coach, co-owner, Mr. Everything, AZ, Eddie Gage. How are you?
What's going on, Ashley? How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Always good to see you.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. You looking like, why you look like that? You look like you worried over there in the Sims.
Got to make some adjustments.
Man, I'm telling you, you already know who over there on the stick, so.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. So we're gonna do some things a little differently tonight. It's just gonna be us three hanging out, panel style. I did have one more guest that was gonna be on, but he couldn't make it, so it's all right. Hopefully he'll be on next week. But we're gonna be talking some SFL majors action. Of course, we had the playoffs that took place over the weekend, and then SFLm minors action. All the rookie class members of 2020, season 20. I was thinking about high school for a second, but season 20 class members will took the field on Friday. Fantastic games to watch. So we're going to be giving you information from that as well. Plus my hot topic question of the evening. And to start things off, now, Diggy sent me, and I have to do this to you, Diggy. So he sent me a DM because everybody knows that watched the show that he won for our season picks, who you got. So he sends this to me, and I have to do this. Yeah, I don't know if you know about this. You probably do. If I can find it. Diggy, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your pics amaze me. And I can see your flashy waist and the gold belt fits your taste. No, it doesn't. Listen, the only reason why you won, the only reason why you got that belt because you won by 1 point. Okay.
Hey,
don't forget.
1 point, half a point, one pass, no pass, rush, touchdown, my ass. It's a championship.
Yeah, you better take it while you get it, huh?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Even if it was a butt fumble into the end zone, I'm gonna go with it.
I feel you. I feel you, man. So, playoffs took place over the weekend and fantastic games to watch. Real nail biters, come from behind victories, and some really, really interesting wins. Speaking of which, first one I wanted to talk about was the Minnesota Legends taking on the DC Dragons, where DC won 20-8. Now, Minnesota had 252 yards passing, 62 yards rushing for 314 total yards. They held the ball for 24 minutes and 37 seconds with 2 turnovers, while DC Dragons had 260 yards passing, 84 yards rushing, and 344 yards total. Their time of possession was 18 minutes, 57 seconds with 2 turnovers as well. It's interesting because Minnesota scored 5 points in the first quarter, and 3 points in the second quarter, and nothing else. Where DC had 3 points in the second quarter and 10 points in the third quarter. Lastly, 7 points in the fourth quarter. So, gentlemen, tell me, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm not gonna lie. I missed almost the first half of that game. I had some family plans. Yeah. Well, it wasn't supposed to work out like that. You know, I told you I was excited. I had my oldest son in town, and they were doing their fall break with me, and I was going to give them the game and sit down and watch it. Father-son moment, first playoff experience. And the other half, she said, well, the parents got this thing in Cades Cove out in, Gatlinburg, and we want to take the kids on the loop. I said, okay, well, I got plans at 5 o'clock. Oh, we'll be done. They want to do grilled stuff. Yeah, we'll be done at like 5 o'clock. We'll be back. I said, okay. Traffic was insane with everybody in town for the leaves. Traffic, the loop, dead stop and go. And I'm sitting over here, no signal, looking at my phone, getting stressed out. The pressure in my chest is building. And I'm like, let's go. She goes, oh, let him do. I said, once more and we're out. We gotta go. I got a game. I told him I got plans with him.
Yeah, that's right.
We get closer to town. Traffic's bad. I finally get one bar, and I can get the game on. It's lagging. I get in the voice chat. I hear Destro go, man, what play they gonna run now? Like that. And I'm like, hell, we're losing, man. Now I'm pissed because I can't get the game to watch. And I just hear Destro say that. Now we're losing. I forgot it was on TV, so I'm thinking game's over. And I said, we missed your game. We're gonna have to go back and watch it when we get home. And then get there, I catch the second half. Okay. And I got it. We're still 15, 20 minutes from home, but I got it on my phone. And she looks over and she goes, that's what she was all pissed off and causing a scene about was a fake football game. I said, this fake? This is real.
I know that's right.
This is a real game. I said, there's over 2,000 people in this league.
I know that's right.
2,000 people. I said, that's right. But I went back and watched it. And the safety got me, but I remember talking last week and said, Shabazz had to come out and make the passes and play a top-notch game, and he did. He did. He played a good game. The guys stepped up. Defense stepped up. I mentioned last week was kind of an off week for us, and it was. Everybody stepped up when they needed to in the big moment. Props to Destro and Steven for putting together a great playbook and getting us a win and getting us out of that slump. That losing slump was a heartbreaker, but at least it happened before the playoffs and it switched up. So I'm glad about that. But Reno had an amazing game minus the 2 interceptions. And when we played them the first time, Reno had a perfect game. He didn't throw any interceptions. Everything was on the dot, and we had to make mistakes, and we were able to do that. So Minnesota, I can't say enough about them. They're high class on and off the field. the level of respect they gave after the game and the loss was top notch. And I'll always have a big respect for that team, and not just for the people I know on it, but just because of what they were able to accomplish week to week in their very first season, from nothing to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it speaks volumes, and I think they'll do some big things next season too.
Indeed. Eddie, you got anything on this game?
Shout out to DC for keeping their composure, because for a good chunk of that game early on, nothing was going their way offensively. Their defense kept them in the game, put together a great game plan defensively. And like I said, despite it's almost as if DC was on a road for a while, because offensively they just could not get going. But they did a great job of limiting the damage by holding Minnesota to field goal attempts rather than touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, in my opinion, the difference in the game. Oh, good job, Sean. That was, in my opinion, that was the difference in the game. But yeah, so shout out to them. Minnesota, I think they kind of also shot themselves in the foot too, because they finished the game with 52 pass attempts, which to me is way too much. You gotta have a more of a balanced offense when playing Minnesota, because if Minnesota can get you, I'm sorry, I take that back. Minnesota attempted 52 pass attempts, and a lot of people give Minnesota credit for their defense, and rightfully so. But that DC defense, like Diggs was saying prior to the show starting, they're pretty good too. And so you want to try to keep these defenses off balance by having a more balanced attack. And 52 pass attempts is just way too many. But shout out to Axel. This is his first season coaching the offense with that team. I'm sure he'll get it right, because he's hungry, I can tell. And he's going to get in the lab and get that thing straightened out, moving on towards the next season. So
yeah,
shout out to Minnesota for their season. Considering the fact they're an expansion team, mm-hmm. They won 7 games, got to the playoffs. Shout out to them. So,
indeed, big.
I was joking around with Churchill in the voice chat during that game, and right when the final whistle blew, I said, "Man, what'd you do? Sandbag all season and save it for the playoffs? What was that?"
Hey, if you got some tricks, you better use them in the playoffs, because these are some seasoned coaches that you are going against. So they know these playbooks like the back of their hand. So it's going to be interesting. Speaking of seasoned coaches, Houston Headhunters took on the Sioux Falls Sparrows, where Sioux Falls won by 1 point, 22-21. Oh, Houston had 196 yards passing, 164 yards rushing, 360 yards total. Time of possession was 18 minutes, 10 seconds, with 2 turnovers. Sioux Falls has 271 yards passing, 121 yards rushing, for 392 yards of total offense. Time of possession was 24 minutes and 50 seconds, with 2 mistakes. Now, neither team scored any points in their first quarters, but Houston scored 7 in the second, 14 in the third, and no points in the fourth, where Sioux Falls had 10 points in the second, 3 points in the third, and 9 points in the fourth. So, gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this game? I will say, I think definitely Sioux Falls had a much more balanced game, as you were speaking of earlier.
For me, Houston going 1 for 5 on third down cost them this game. Their defense showed up and did what they needed to do, but the offense, who's known for putting fear into defenses as they make you defend every blade of grass, going deep downfield, was not to be heard of. Hall of Fame wide receiver D.R. Sim finished the game with 1 catch for 15 yards. That's just not going to get it done against a team like Sioux Falls in the defense. Mike St. Green had 2 catches for 37 yards. I mean, their running game kept them in it, which I kind of knew it would because of Sioux Falls' defensive play style, keeping 260s high a lot. So I knew GP Wells would go off, but they didn't have enough going offensively in terms of the passing game to put that game away. And shout out to Sioux Falls putting together a game plan to limit the production of DR Sim and Company. They did their thing. They found a way to come out with a 1-point win.
Diggy?
I agree with Eddie. My thing I was going to mention was, I think what got Houston was the third down conversions. I mean, you got to keep your ball moving and get on. And they went 1 for 5, so 20%. Yeah, so I think that was it, especially on a 1-point game. I mean, if you got that extra down and that extra couple plays, I mean, it could make a difference. But I mean, like we said, GP Wells did an amazing job. He had some good breaks in there, and I want to give some props to an old alumni. I mean, Marcus Duncan. I mean, he had a good game too, over 100 yards, and I want to see what he can pull out. So I think you got to watch out for him too.
Indeed. Now, another good game to watch was Fort Worth Toros taking on the Vancouver Legion, where Vancouver won 28-17. Vancouver had 249 yards passing, 66 yards rushing for 315 yards total. Time of possession was 21 minutes, 25 seconds, 4 turnovers. Fort Worth Toros had 268 yards passing, 60 yards rushing for 328 yards total. The time of possession was 22 minutes, 35 seconds with 3 mistakes. Fort Worth scored no points in the first or second quarters, but they did have 10 points in the third and 7 points in the fourth, where Vancouver scored 14 in the first, 14 in the second, and no more points after that. So I think, in my opinion, it's funny how things work out sometimes, because Fort Worth had the ball longer, by a minute or so, and they made less mistakes, but they wasn't able to score in all 4 quarters. Neither was Vancouver, to be fair. But when you're down, when you score no points in the first half, it's very hard for you to come back from that. What are your thoughts, Jimmy?
Well, Vancouver, I mean, they came into the game pedal to the metal. I mean, starting off and hitting them strong with Redford, and then getting an interception, and then getting Redford right back into the end zone. I mean, it was just too much too fast for them to overcome it, and the slow start is, I think, what killed them. And with Vancouver, I'll eat my words on it. I thought, like we said before, throughout the season, they didn't look like the Vancouver we all knew, but first game of the playoffs, they showed up. Vancouver was Vancouver. So, I mean, I'm kind of wondering if it's a little game they had going on. Hey, let's sneak into the playoffs and then smack them around a little bit. I don't know. So, like you said, you can't ever overlook anybody, and Vancouver came into the playoffs and made a statement. So,
indeed. Eddie?
I thought once once the game started and I saw that Vancouver was playing nickel as a base defense, I figured that Jason Williams would have a field day, but they actually did a pretty darn good job containing him. Jason Williams had 20 rushing attempts for only 53 yards. That's not going to get it done when he is the bell cow. He leads the team in catches, as well. So, and they had him in check. Had 8 catches, but for only 35 yards. Not gonna get it done. And shout out to Vancouver for doing their homework and knowing what the tendencies of Fort Worth were. They contained that offense and putting up 28 points in the first half, but like you said, didn't score in the second half. But by then, the damage was already done. Fort Worth made a run late, but by then it was too little too late. And Vancouver advanced.
Rightfully so. That effort, I mean, can't argue with that. Now, game that had me on pins and needles And I admittedly missed the first half of the game because I was on my way home driving in thunderstorms and rain. And I didn't want to crash listening to this game. But the Arizona Scorpions took on the Lone Star Glory, and Arizona won 52-33 in a comeback that I think probably one of the best comebacks that we probably ever had as a team. Lone Star had 306 yards passing, 79 yards rushing, with 385 yards total. They held the ball for 22 minutes, 49 seconds with 3 mistakes. Arizona had 326 yards passing, 164 yards rushing for 490 yards total. Time of possession was only 20 minutes and 19 seconds with 2 turnovers. Lone Star scored 10 points in the first quarter, 9 points in the second, no points in the third, and 14 points in the fourth, where Arizona scored no points in the first quarter, 7 points in the second quarter, 21 points in the third quarter, and 24 points in the fourth quarter. So, indeed, a tale of two halves. When I turned on the game, finally, I was hearing the broadcaster say, basically, she was struggling that first half, and of course, you can see that we only scored 7 points in 2 quarters, And I always have a thing, and I think I've mentioned this before. Like, if I'm not watching the game, I feel like when we're losing, I'm not supposed to watch, And well, I'm gonna let Eddie tell you the rest of that. But it's like when I came to start watching it, then we turned things around. So, but that whole thing was crazy. But what is your opinions on this, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'll let you know. Oh, okay. I saw the first part when y'all were down, and I was like, oh man. But I mean, when y'all came back and you did exactly, what we had talked about last week on the show. I said, if you come out there and you're hitting everything on the nail, right on the head, and knocking your passes in and taking care of the ball, y'all got that game. And you not only had that game, y'all destroyed that game. I mean, to come back like that, and how many unanswered points was it? It was
35.
How many what was it?
35.
35. Yeah, to turn it around and do that. I mean, I don't know if it was like Eddie posted a pep talk from somebody or what, but I'm like you. If I'm watching the game and we're doing bad, then I shut it off, or if I haven't caught the first half and we're doing well and I watch it and we throw an interception or something, I gotta shut it off. But that's not these games here. I'm talking like a Bears game or something like that. That's the juju, I gotta keep all that going. So, like I had a baseball game that I watched. I hit 3 at bats, 3 home runs. Okay, and I didn't watch that game at all, and I watched it this weekend, and I hit flyouts 3 times. I said, I ain't watching another game. I'm not watching another game. So I feel you on that. But congrats on the win.
Man, congrats on your win too, man. That was very interesting. But Eddie, go ahead and let them know what happened, man.
First of all, anytime we're playing, I don't care if we're playing a team from the minors. No matter how late I go to bed, I always wake up on game day at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, no matter what I try to do to make sure I wake up late. Because my anxiety is just through the roof. Anybody on the team would tell you that. And I'm just a nervous wreck all day. And about an hour before the game started, I start pacing around the house, trying to, calm myself down. I never can. And so for me, if we get off to a fast start, I tend to relax more. And so when we got down, it was like, okay, here we go. But to be honest with you, even when we were down 19-0, the way the game was unfolding, I won't say I was confident we were going to win, but I was confident we would march back. And I won't go into details as to why, but it's just I won't say, but
could it have anything to do with like 60 to 80 run sims in the week? I mean,
no.
Oh, okay.
Well, I won't go into no details, but the way the game was going, I was like, okay, it is what it is. And I told myself, if we can just score a touchdown before they put up any more points, because they dominated the time possession in the first half. And I don't know what it was, but I remember Ramos commenting on it that they had already ran 35 plays in the first half, and the game was still going on. I'm like, dang, was it that many? I said, well, the fact that we only down 19-0, I said, I feel pretty good because of some things that I saw. I'm like, okay, we down 19-0. We got our work cut out, but if we can score a touchdown so I can see some things, then I feel pretty good. And sure enough, we scored that one touchdown right before the half. And I said, okay. I said, I think we're going to be all right. I didn't say it in the locker room because I don't want to give guys false hope or anything like that. Because EJ the Q, he got a habit of asking me all the time, hey, Eddie, what are you seeing, man? How's it looking? Is this what you saw on film? What's going on? And so I hate to give people direct answers because, like Shabazz Energy said, sometimes those sims lie. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like to necessarily tell them exactly what I'm seeing. And so I just kind of, give them tidbits, but I don't go into too much detail. But from what I was seeing, I was like, I think we're going to be okay. And sure enough, in that second half started, I wasn't expecting us to blow them out like that, but I did expect our offense to wake the hell up and do what I saw us doing throughout the week. So, all that said, shout out to Lone Star, man. They came to play. They threw some wrinkles in there that they hadn't shown before. And I was like, okay, all right. But it's like someone once told me, sometimes when you throw too many new things in there, you can throw off the cohesiveness of your playbook and you all jacked up. Plus, you trying to make so many changes to prepare for this. Meanwhile, they making changes. And so now you don't know what the heck you're going to see. So you just try your best to put yourself in position to win and just hope it all shake out. But like I say, shout out to Lone Star. They came to play. Ike McBride was giving us fits all week in my sims, and I was worried sick. And so much so I did a couple of things that I hadn't done since season 15 with the defensive playbook. But it worked out for us. And we moved on to next week. And, shout out to Lone Star. And the second half of the season, they put some wins together to put themselves in position to make the playoffs after they looked like they was going to go their way for a while. So shout out to them.
Let me ask you this, Eddie. You were talking about how many plays were run in the first, right? When you have a team and you run that type of stuff and you get into that situation where it just lined up where you've ran 30, 40 plays like that, does that make you feel or think you've run the risk of shooting your shot too early? Because they got so many plays, right? And sometimes it only runs it.
That depends. And we can talk about that more off air, but
okay.
It depends.
You want to give away too many secrets now?
No.
All right, man. Okay. But listen, to all the teams that won, congratulations on your accomplishment. Still got, more games to play. For all the teams that were not fortunate enough to win, do not feel discouraged. Hold your heads up high because you did make it to the playoffs. Valiant efforts all around. It may not have ended the way you wanted to, but at least you were here, right? So just keep that in mind and come back. I'm sure I'm gonna see a lot of them next year. But on to next week's matchups for the playoffs. On Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, San Francisco, Sioux Falls Sparrows will be taking on the London Knights. That is going to be an amazing game to watch. I'm gonna defer to y'all on that first before we do our pick.
I'm gonna talk about it and then make my pick. So, Sioux Falls has to do, what they do best. Like we said last week, pick those interceptions out of the sky and capitalize on each mistake they can force London to make. But they can't just, get these turnovers and then get down the field and kick a field goal. They have to turn those 3 points into 7. They can't do that against London, and that's kind of what they did last week. Was they'd get the interceptions and they'd just get down there and kick a field goal, and it was enough to get it done, last week, and give them just enough to get over. But they've got Duncan, and they got to get Duncan going early. And like I said before, I like seeing an alumni in the playoffs, and they got to make Pickler make mistakes. Pickler had an off week the last time they played versus the V8. I think Pickler has had with the bye the time he needed to kind of get his head back on right. So we'll see him start connecting more accurately like we're used to, and like he's done all season. But honestly, this game is going to come down to how well Pickler comes out and plays and does and does with this game taking care of the ball. And if he can finesse the passes against the stingy Sioux Falls defense, as well as the receivers catching the ball and being able to get good yak, I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. I think Sioux Falls has a chance, but I think a well-rested Pickler will probably be a little too much. I think London really has had a good season and had the ball rolling that long. They know what they're doing. They know what they got to work with, and an extra week to game plan against that kind of defense that Sioux Falls runs, and to see them one more week, I think London comes out with a win on this one.
Okay.
London beat Sioux Falls 16-10 the first time early on in the season in Sioux Falls. This time it's in London, and as Johnny likes to point out, they've only lost twice in that building since he's been a quarterback. So I think the chances of Sioux Falls going on the road and winning that game is going to be a bit slimmer because they tend to play better at home. I got Sioux Falls winning that game. I'm sorry, excuse my pardon me. I got London winning that game.
That don't count. It already came out. It's out there.
As crazy as it sounds, y'all made some really good points about London. And I want to pick London. But I have a feeling in my gut that Sioux Falls is going to wind up surprising them and winning this game. And I don't necessarily, they have the pieces definitely. And of course, London, Johnny Pickler connecting with all those receivers and getting Robert Merrill more involved. I'm sure the coaching of London is going to try to go for a more balanced game. But something is telling me that Sioux Falls is just going to win this game, and it's not going to be by much. But I think they're going to win by 3 points. I don't know why, so I'm going to go with Sioux Falls on this. All right? Crazy. I don't know why. And I thought about it too. I want to pick London.
I'd like to hear a little bit more on that.
Okay.
Like what's you said you
because
do a little bit more balanced play, but what's soup? Is it going to be a string of like?
It's going to be. I think it's going to be an air raid attack from Sioux Falls, and I don't know if London is going to be able to keep up with it. I think they're going to actually try something different, and I don't think London is going to be ready for it. That's why. But I've been wrong before, so we'll see.
Well,
But when you
you'll
get
have
it,
a lot of people on your side hoping they get an upset. So.
I mean, yeah, but and like I said, I want to pick London, but there's something in my gut telling me that Sioux Falls is going to win this. I don't know why, and it's strong too. So we're gonna see. But on Saturday, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, Vancouver, we're taking on the Mexico City Aztecs. Another great game to watch. All of these are going to be fantastic games to watch. And these picks are not easy by any means. Do you go with a team that's coming off a win and that's firing on all cylinders, or do you go with a well-rested Mexico City? I think I'm gonna go Mexico City on this one. I think that they're gonna get their receivers, especially Dags, involved. This is hard, but I think Mexico City is gonna they're gonna have to do more because Vancouver did show great prowess in what they did last week. But I'm gonna give the win to Mexico City. Eddie, who you got?
It seems like each time I see these two teams play, it's always a tight game. I think this is gonna be tight too. Mexico City at home. I got Mexico City on this one.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try to be quick. Mexico City, they're gonna have to be able to not give up some of the big passes to the opposing teams. Like the last week they played, I mean, they were right there on a lot of those. They could have intercepted them, and they just barely got by them. So they're gonna have to get that in check, and they gotta hold the tackles. So if they can apply the pressure to Vancouver's quarterback and stop that run and put the points on the board early and often and capitalize on these mistakes, I think Mexico City can do it. And I'm going to join both of you and say Mexico City. Only because Vancouver had a heck of a week last week, but if you put the collection of the season as a whole, Mexico stands a better chance than if you're just looking at how last week played out. So I'm gonna go Mexico City.
All right. So next up on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, the DC Dragons will be taking on the Baltimore Vultures. Woo. Again, the seasoned coaches, Destro and T-Pat, TJ, they've been around for a long time. This is going to be a fantastic battle. But I think I'm gonna let Diggy go first on this one.
Obviously, I think I'm gonna take DC because it's the playoffs. I'm gonna take them. I was real last time and said what I thought. But honestly, if you look at it, week one, we had a pretty bad loss to them. They usually play them pretty tight. So next time we faced them, it was a little bit closer. But I said third time's the charm. I said it. I thought we'd play them in the playoffs, and here we are. And they say it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. So I don't think they were talking about Baltimore when that was brought up. But I was talking to BJ the other day, and we kind of brought that up, and I said, man, you flip a coin and it lands on heads 10 times. I'm gonna ask who was flipping the coin. Baltimore. I mean, it's going to be a tough match. Steven's got to play mistake-free football. The defense has to capitalize on every single turnover. We have to stop every third down. Like I said, you got to play mistake-free football when you're playing Baltimore, or make them create some kind of mistake and capitalize on it, even if it's just one. You take the one and you take advantage of it, and you take it to the house. So that's what we got to do. That's what we're going to do. And I'll tell you who my finals prediction is. And I see DC moving on to the next round of the playoffs in a tough fought game, close game with Baltimore.
Okay. Eddie?
DC played them twice. Came up short. Reiterating what he just said, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. But man, Baltimore, man, they're playing on another level right now. I swear it's like they cheating with the salary cap, the way they're able to, get guys to cut attributes and get animations 2 weeks before everyone else gets them. And then TJ is doing things defensively that I've never seen a team do before in the league. And man, they getting pressure on the quarterback. I don't know how many sacks they have as a team, but it seems like it's a lot. And he's calling plays that it's hard to game plan for because no one uses them. And shout out to them, man. DC got their hands full. They in Baltimore. That's what my guy Diggs, my guy, man. I appreciate what Shabazz doing over there. He one of the better OCs out there. But DC did beat him last season. But I think at the end, Baltimore, they're gonna put together that championship pedigree and get that W.
Well, you got to think too. Stevens got that extra fire up under him. I mean, nobody wants to lose to one team 3 times.
Yeah, that's tough.
He's gonna put the extra hours in. He's gonna put that little extra oomph in. And I mean, him and Destro are gonna be burning the coal late into the night, waiting until the last second, getting that last sim in, and pushing that through. So
it's gonna be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely going to be a good game. Man, taking into everything that you guys said into account. Diggy, I'm sorry, man. It's just hard to go against Baltimore when they're at home. Well, hold on. When they're at home, when they're the former champions, but they really do seem to have some kind of a magic spell or magic touch when it comes to these playoff games. I mean, they won out of three times out of 4 times they've been there. Now, DC does have what it takes, and I truly believe that DC can win this game. I believe you can win any game on any given sim day, but you guys would definitely have to.
Before you finish, let me put one more argument on you.
Okay.
Playoffs been crazy already. We had a crazy season. This league, these Sims got one more big old surprise coming for the playoffs. And it's going to be my final 2 teams. And I'm going to tell you my final right now. DC, Arizona. That's my final. Change it. It's gonna happen. And yeah, there you go.
I mean, I feel you. And you guys have got to play mistake-free football. I mean, the cornerbacks just be fish. They watch. You can barely test anybody. You can barely test their special teams because their special teams are scoring. So, I'm sorry, Diggs. I know.
We run one back too.
Hey, yeah, that's true. But they got a knack for doing it all the time. So listen. I would love to see that. if we could definitely be in the championship game together, that'd be dope. But in order for you to do that, you gotta win this game. Okay? You got to. But Baltimore, that's tough, man. I'm gonna go with Baltimore, but win a game. Okay? And I'll see you there.
Oh yeah, we're gonna win it. We're gonna show out.
All right.
Bet on that.
Finally, all of these are tough games to really call, all of them. This including the last one on Sunday at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Scorpions will be taking on the Florida Storm in Florida. That is a very hard game. Of course, I'm going to go with Arizona because it's my team, it's my squad, and I believe that we can beat anybody. But with Mighty on those playbooks, with Mighty having so much knowledge that he does have, it is going to be a very, very tight game. But I believe Eddie will put together a game plan that's going to make sure that we come out with a W. Now, we're not going to come out unscathed, understand that, but I believe in my team, I believe in my coach, but we're definitely going to have to play as much mistake-free football as possible, and we're going to have a balanced game in order to beat these guys, but I believe that we can do it.
Man, I live for these moments, man. It's playoff time. I work so hard to get our guys and gals here because I want them to win and have fun out here doing it. And I'm not ready to go home yet. That said, neither is Florida. Mighty got his hand in that playbook, man, and he over there doing things, and I know our coaching, but Mighty got his hand in that thing, man.
Yep.
And I gotta find a way to get a win, man, and it's gonna be tough. They beat us early this season in Arizona. Now we gotta go to their house. I'm not ready to go home.
What was the score of that game, Eddie?
I believe it was 30-20. 30-23, something like that. I have to look it up.
Close. It was close.
It was close. We had some unfortunate interceptions. Actually, threw 3 picks that game, and it got away from us. So we got to be more careful with the football, but also defensively, Mighty gonna show you something different every week. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a 3-4. I really wouldn't, because that's what he used against me in the playoffs 2 seasons ago. So maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I gotta be ready for everything. So I gotta make sure I'm ready for the 3-4, the 4-3, hell, maybe even 4-4, who knows? But it's gonna be tough because he tends to show you wrinkles you haven't seen, and he does it all the time. Scout against him, you can scout 3 games, and I promise you that 4th game, you're gonna see something you haven't seen. So it's gonna be a tough battle, but of course I'm gonna pick us to win because that's what I do. I'm never gonna say we're gonna lose a game. Fuck that, I don't even know what that even means. So I'm gonna go out here and work hard, but we're gonna have to earn it. And it starts on the field. Right now I'm running a sim, and it's not looking good. So I gotta make some adjustments and do what I do, man, because right now they blowing us out. So
yeah, as a matter of fact, I believe on Dave's show, the whole panel said that we were gonna lose this game. Every last one of them.
I didn't.
It is Florida and Mighty coaching them, so how can you pick against a 3-time champion? But I'm picking us to win.
right. I'm not gonna do y'all dirty like you did me.
Damn.
Stop it, man.
I'm gonna pick Arizona to win. But I'm gonna say this: Arizona needs to play like they did last week, minus the slow start. Okay, you got to start fast and early. Keep your foot on the neck. Play effective, mistake-free football. Keep AJ upright and give her time to throw. Florida's gonna have to keep up the defensive pressure that they kept up against Louisiana and keep that bend but don't break. You know, and, keep y'all to just field goals or nothing, as well as, you know, making Ashley make mistakes. And I mean, they're great at picking the ball off, but as talented as Florida is, they still need to play a good game, because Arizona showed last week, you know, they can pick off a handful of them themselves. So, you know, it's going to be a good game, like y'all said, but I pick you guys.
Diggy, don't look at me like that. That's how you. You know. You already know.
Yeah,
But-
no, you said Axis picked, the whole panel picked Florida over you. Do you know what they picked for the rest of the games?
That was the
No?
only thing
Okay.
I heard.
I was watching it before we got, and then I started getting set for this, so I had to cut it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the rest.
And then let me know. But yeah, they was announcing it in our locker room, and I was like, "Uh-oh, here we go. But it's all good. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, just like we had ours. Everybody's entitled. So we're just gonna see who's right in the end. That's all. On to SFLm action now. SFLm minors welcome rookies. I hope that y'all had fun watching yourselves on the field and getting that taste of, you know, of the excitement that we all look forward to every week. On the 14th, which is Friday, the Albuquerque Adams took on the Madison Lynx, where Madison won 34-24, followed by the Annapolis Navigators Annapolis Navigators taking on the Lexington Miners, where the Miners won 13-7. San Jose Flight took on the Ottawa Cavalry, where Ottawa won 18-6. And the Tacoma Grizzlies took on the Lincoln Rattlesnakes, where Lincoln won 18-17. So interesting games here, you know, rookies showing what they got. And it's funny because the first game, Albuquerque Adams and Madison, Albuquerque has won the championship how many times, Diggy? Like 2 or 3 times? 2 times?
Madison's won the championship twice. Adams has won it twice.
Okay, so they're both even. All right.
Madison
Awesome.
was the first one to win it twice, and then the Adams joined them last season.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, these are some exciting games for the rookies, and then for the coaches to kind of, you know, sharpen their skills on this, you know, for the minors. It was some great games to watch. But did anything stick out to you guys? And you can either talk about it as an overall, or as an individual game, whichever one y'all want to do.
Turnovers. 9 turnovers in that game. 5 of them by Albuquerque, 4 by Madison. Tayc threw the ball 50 times. And it's one thing if he's being efficient, but 60% passing, not gonna get it done in this league. Defending champions, but it is week 1. Neither team knows what the other's gonna do. So it's kind of even hard to even, you know, give too much blame or too much credit week 1. So you just got to see what adjustments teams make and go from there. But shout out to Madison for taking it to the champs, man, and getting that W.
Yeah, which you said you went in Annapolis and Lexington first?
No, Madison, Albuquerque was first.
Oh, okay. Lost. I'm gonna try not to play favorites here because I play Madison. So Madison came out and honestly, Thumper was looking good. He really reminded me of UT's Hooker in real life. Like he had that little run. He had some legs on him. So great passes, yes. Mistakes were made, but the fact, like I said, he's got legs. It impressed me. everybody stepped up, especially is it Llama? Llama, I guess you say Lama. Llama.
I think it's Llama.
On the defense, he had 4 interceptions, so it was good. Type Attack had a tough welcome. Would have been another great game for him. They had a decent run pass mix, but they need to be able to convert on those third downs as well as keeping Tayc upright. So all in all, it was a good upset game. I mean, I don't think anybody thought Madison was going to beat the defending champions in week 1, especially if you kind of looked at the roster side of things. It looked like Adams had it in hand. So, like you said, again, we don't say it enough, and we say it all the time. Any sim, any day. So. Muted.
Always. Let's go have it at least once on the show. Apparently. All right, good stuff, gentlemen. On to SFLm week 2. On Friday, the 21st, Lexington Miners will be taking on the Albuquerque Adams at 6:30 p.m. Is there a particular game? Is there a particular team you going for, Diggy?
I did a little thing for each one of the games.
All right, cool. Let's hear it.
Let's see, Lexington versus the Adams. Lexington Sanders is gonna do pretty big things here. Lexington is this season reminds me of their guy Sanders, the running back. He kind of reminds me, if you watch him, like a little Kevin Say, sliding through the tackles. I mean, it was fun to watch that. But if they can avoid some of the interceptions, I think there's a high ceiling for more over there. The Adams, Tayc will do what he does, and it's going to come down to if they can truly stop the run game of Sanders and Lexington after versing the team that's only tested their run defense a few times. Last week, if you look at the stats, they only got ran on, I think, 3 times. They passed 70-something times in that game. So their run defense really hasn't been tested yet. So we're going to see if they can slow it down or not.
I don't see the defending champions losing 2 straight to start the season. I'm going with Albuquerque.
That's what I was trying to find on this stuff. I don't know if we can talk about it another time, but I had brought up that whole curse situation in Ashley last season. The 2 teams that go into the SFLm championship,
yes,
fall off the next season.
Yes.
And yeah, the people get drafted and all that stuff, and yeah, coaches change, but I mean, it's a pattern. It's been a pattern since the beginning, except for one team.
That's crazy. And you need to definitely bring that up next show. Just as a reminder for everybody. I'm going to go with did y'all make a pick'ems or no?
I picked Albuquerque.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Albuquerque too. I think they're kind of pissed off right now for that loss they took week 1.
I'm trying to flip through these notes there real quick. And this phone's messing up. What was the game one more time?
It was Lexington Miners versus Albuquerque Adams.
I'm going Lexington.
All right.
Just because I like that running back, and like I said, it's if you go back and watch him and pay attention, it looks like a little baby Say.
And we know how effective Kevin Say is, so that's a lot. That's a compliment. Lincoln Rattlesnakes will be taking on the Madison Lynx at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Who you got?
Lincoln Miners.
Okay, I'm going Madison.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Madison as well. But Madison has to get the run game established to take some of the pressure off Thumper and see how Nakamoto can run now that they are without Duncan. And he didn't really get a chance to do too much. They really threw the ball a lot last week, and I don't think they gave him a chance to see how effective he can be or what he can really do, because they relied more on that pass game last week.
So you're picking Madison.
I'm still picking Madison.
Any bias there whatsoever? Or,
No, I mean Lincoln's the stronger team. I just want to see if they actually run the ball this week. If Duncan's going to be that guy or not. Right. I mean, not Duncan. If the Nakamoto guy is going to be that guy or not. Lincoln played almost a perfect game, pretty much. That game they had last week. Who they play last week? Lincoln and Tacoma. That was probably the best game of the week. Both teams were hitting on all cylinders, but I gotta have an upset somewhere, and I'm gonna pick Madison.
All right.
But that defense kind of make them make mistakes. Like I said, they were receivers catching balls. If you look at the target ratio to reception ratio for those two teams that week, I mean, it was a couple passes off. I mean, they're catching the ball, they're throwing the ball, they're evenly balanced pretty much on the run pass. It was perfect, almost. So.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Also on the 21st, the Ottawa Cavalry will be taking on the Annapolis Navigators at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Who you got, Diggy?
Oh, you picked Madison and he picked Lincoln, right? So I'm writing this down.
That's right.
Eddie, you picked Madison?
I did.
No, you picked Lincoln.
No,
you picked Lincoln.
I picked Lincoln.
And you picked Madison?
I did.
Okay, hang on just a second.
And I'm going Ottawa on this game.
Eddie, who you grabbing?
I'm picking Ottawa.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Ottawa as well. I say that because I think Annapolis is still trying to figure things out without playing with Squarebush and what's going to work for this new halfback they got. Annapolis is a great one with one of those big names that brings weight to it, kind of like Baltimore up there. Every time you talk about Annapolis or Lexington, it's like, man, that team wins. Down in the minors, but I think Annapolis will figure it out quickly and turn things around for the season. But Ottawa has got to be a little bit more effective in the receiving game and spreading the ball a little bit around more. They got to hold on to it, and I think they will blow up the scoreboard if their quarterback can do what he needs to. And their running back, Dwayne Salmons, I mean, he had 32 attempts, and he can be effective. I just think they need a little bit more balanced attack over there, and their guys need to be hitting. So, like I said, don't count Annapolis out for long, because once they figure out what they can do with this running back that's replacing Squarebush, I think they'll be right back where they were.
Oh, I totally get that. I totally agree with you on that. Last game will be the Tacoma Grizzlies taking on the San Jose Flight, 9:00. Both teams coming fresh off a loss. Tacoma's loss was a little bit closer than San Jose Flight's. So, what do you have, gentlemen?
I'll do this. I'm gonna go Tacoma. San Jose Flight was pretty well grounded last week, so they're going to have to get the air game going outside of Bacon, and the QB has to take care of the ball. This is a tough match for them, as Tacoma's offense, like I said, was spot on last week pretty much. They spread the ball around well, not just between the run and pass play, but between the receiving core itself. If Tacoma can step up on the third downs, that's the only really critique I had from last week on them. Like I said, they played a near perfect game, especially with their receivers. If you look, is the third down conversions. They need to keep that going. If they can convert on those third downs and keep the ball moving, they'll walk away with a win. So I'm going Tacoma.
I think I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Tacoma. But first week you never know what you're going to get. But seeing Tacoma's defense work its magic like that. I think they got enough steam in the engine to carry it over to next week. So I'm going to go with Tacoma.
I hate to do this to my man Will, but I got to go with Tacoma as well.
Oh, Will.
Sorry, Will.
All right, that ends the playoffs. Pickoffs. The playoffs.
I want to know who your final two is for the playoffs before we get too deep and you only have a couple teams to pick from.
Who you asking, Ashley? Oh, go ahead, Ashley.
Both y'all. Yeah.
I mean, Arizona. Definitely.
Clearly.
Just who are we gonna play against?
Well, if it's you got the bracket because it should follow the bracket now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let me see. If y'all win that one, it's either gonna be.
If we win, we play London if they beat Sioux Falls, I believe.
Yeah, it would be Baltimore, DC, Mexico, or Vancouver. Because she already picked you to win all the way to the finals. So that's the other teams you got to choose from. DC, Baltimore, Mexico, or Vancouver. Which one of them four are you facing?
Baltimore. And we gonna beat them 3-2. Gonna be the final score. Cliff gonna hit the game when as time expires. A 52-yard field goal as time expires.
So y'all taking a
Safety.
taking a safety.
We might. I don't care how we get it. Just get it.
I don't care how you get it, just get it. I think whoever's gonna win between Baltimore and DC, that's who we're gonna be facing. The winner of that game is who we're gonna be facing in the playoffs.
All right, fair enough.
Okay. Got it. Now, my question of the week actually did not come from the suggestion box. It's been something I've been thinking about. I had a conversation with Cam recently. I want to know from you guys. Well, I've been hearing it that Cam should consider moving from All Pro to a different game. Which would you choose and why? But before you answer that, I'm gonna start up another room so y'all can answer. What, 8 minutes? Yeah, y'all might take long. So we'll quickly start up another room, then y'all can answer that, okay?
All right.
All right. All right, gentlemen. Now, unfortunately, I played Madden. I played those games like that, but I don't know enough about the hexing of the coding aspects of games in order to know what would be the most efficient game that we could switch to. Because if you think about it, we know what All Pro 2K8 does. We know its shortcomings. We know what it does well. If you are trying to move 700 players over to another game, and this is a game that you're not familiar with, you don't know what to expect. So I guess my question is that worth the risk?
Well, I'm sure they could run their own small tests, in downtime. Maybe like start out with something smaller like the miners over there and see how it worked, and if they wanted to try that. But my thing is, I like it here in the SFL because it's different. It's different. It's not Madden. There's 180 something Madden things like that, and my thing is, I don't want to go to Madden until they quit polishing the turd. They gotta fix it. I can't play my online franchise. I can't the server, it kicks me off. You want to be on a sim like that, or if he has to do it online like that, and EA can't connect, and I don't know how the broadcasters and stuff all connect on that and do all that stuff. But if it drops in the middle of the game, I mean, you're gonna have people upset because we have to redo it, or I mean, the files. I mean, you get people. It's generic. You can't create your own uniforms really like they're doing now. So that'll be out the window. You won't be creating your own uniform. You'll have what's there on the limited amount of teams that they got, unless we're all gonna. You can only have, I think, 28 teams. I don't think you can really move 32 yet. They may have to fix that. But I mean, you're gonna be in these places, and you'll still have the same issue. Once the roster file gets so big, it crashes itself. So, I mean, or you can only go so far and have to redo it. And then, like you said, once you get 700-800 people, it's going to take a long time to individually build each person. And once we switch from one place to another, if you've been in here for a while like Eddie, you run the risk of your player being an all-time great to complete trash. I mean, you don't know how they're going to play over there. I mean, it's MVP to has-been. It's going to be crazy. So I think we stick with what we got until we get big enough that it's an issue, and leave it alone. Leave it alone right now, especially right now. I told BJ the other day, this game, this Madden, was supposed to be a tribute to John Madden, right? And it's the biggest disappointment, the worst one they've ever come out with all these issues and everything right now. I had just got it, and I'm glad I found it cheap. I found it for $25, and I bought it, because if I'd have paid the $60, I'd have been pissed, and I'd have broke the thing already. But I paid $25, so I'm not as upset because I didn't pay full price. But it was okay. I played it online with Jorge Torres. Okay, we got our own little franchise we do. So I was playing the game with him, and he talked it up. Hey man, when you run, they're like pushing off the back and moving, and they're smart, and they know what's going on. And then the first update was 3 gigs, and I said, man, they're about to fuck this up. 3 gig update, and they did. Ever since that update, it was trash. The draft resets. You can't draft. Or we finished the draft after the newest update, and then we went on. We're like, okay, cool, we can play again. Tell me we didn't get back in there the next night, log back in, and we're back on round 2 of the draft. I said, I thought they fixed this. They didn't do nothing. They didn't fix nothing. It's not worth the headache. This league is enough headache for Cam, to put all the numbers in and try to time crunch, get everything done on time, and get these people to get all the pieces lined up. But to add stuff like that and stuff out of control, Madden is what destroys a lot of these sim leagues. They get tired of messing with it. They get tired of losing their file and all that stuff. I mean, there's just too much risk for the reward, and it's not worth it. So until they figure something else out, that's out the window for me. And then the other thing is, if we go over to that next gen stuff, are the owners gonna is the league gonna get these owners a PS5 so everybody has the system to run it? I mean, what's gonna happen there? Not everybody's got that.
Right.
I don't have. I mean, that's what knocks some people out of stuff. I mean, is the money thing. I mean, they're complaining about, oh, it went up a couple bucks a month. Okay, go drop $400 or $300 on a new system too. And oh, by the way, you got to spend $60 or $40 for your game as well. So, I mean, we'll see. Eddie, your turn. I'm done.
Me, and I know it's gonna upset some people, but I don't want to switch from All Pro 2K. I love the game. I can't think of another game I'd rather play. To me, it's all 2K8 until everybody's CD breaks or something. I don't know. Or go get the emulator or something. I don't know, but I like All Pro 2K8. Like he said, it's a million doggone Madden leagues out there. I like All Pro 2K. I like everything about it. The game was released in 2008, and it still does things better than Madden does to this day. Still, it's crazy, man. And I love the game itself, man. I don't want to see it change. So I hope we stick with this same game until I retire.
Well,
Right.
people get upset about that with 2K. Some of the pains we feel like the not getting back to the line in time, and running that clock out. Oh, they ain't calling timeout. Oh, they just wasted that. If it wasn't for that runoff, like we'd have been. Madden still has the runoff. Okay, you still get screwed on that part, or we're gonna go from little things like that, like bobbled passes that get buffed around by 5, 6, 7 guys, and then it finally gets caught. Little things that kind of irk some people with the way the old school game plays, even though it ain't old school, but you got worse stuff in Madden. You got a guy shoulder check a guy and he's spinning around in a circle trying to catch himself from falling over. It's like a glitch. Or you got the ball going through somebody, and I mean it's way worse. And if you're a true Madden person that enjoys franchising, you can play it over and over and over and over. You already know what's best. What's best is to keep it how it is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's too many uncertainties. It's too much uncertainty, and with 700 plus people that are actually players, that's a lot of people to upset. When we all know, like I said, the ins and outs of 2K8. There have been some mention of going to 2K5. I'm like, why would you go backwards? Why would you? Or, and I think in the grand scheme of things, Cam eventually wants to get his own game, which is, that's the goal. He wants to be able to just have his own game coded the way he wants to. But until then, I think that we probably should just stick to where we are. And, these are our opinions and things like that. And if anybody in the chat, or if anybody wants to come up with a game and reasons why, Cam should maybe look into it, I think it would be welcomed. But I think overall, kind of stick to what you know on this one. So
I think it would end up being more work for Cam.
Yeah, it would.
Because like now, Eddie, Destro, Chad, all these coaches can change the uniforms and keep things fresh and keep their people from getting bored. I mean, there's some of these reload teams in Madden. You got one uniform. That's it. One uniform. And I think two of them don't even have the names on the back of. So, I mean, you better hope you know what number you are and there ain't another W out there. But, I mean, you're going to have more people wanting to move in free agency.
Right.
I mean, I get tired of seeing the same two uniforms all the time. You can only switch the pants, or like now it's glitching where I'll choose one uniform and it plays a totally different one when I'm playing the game. But you're going to have people tired of seeing the same stuff, and they're going to want something different. And they may love your team, but they need a change of view, so they're going to go over here and try this uniform out for a while. I mean, and it's going to be more work for Cam to make all these moves. I mean, he does them already, but I think it'll be more of an influx of that.
Unless people want to help.
That ain't gonna happen.
Okay, so that's my
they'll
thing.
say they'll help and realize how much work it actually is, and dip out of it. And you got people like I helped run one. It was the SFL. I coached over there for that one, and I helped him start it off and create the players. And you got people in that Discord. Hey, when are we gonna start? It's like, you know how long it takes me to make one team? I gotta go in here and do your height, your weight, the uniform that you wanted, the helmet that you wanted, this, and then not only that, but I have to updo your stats, your attributes and stuff. So, I mean, it takes forever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, y'all want to help, then volunteer and actually do that. But if you don't, if you want to sit back and, hey, I want to keep my life the way it is, then let's just roll with what we got until we can, come up with a better plan. But right now, I just got to do what works. But gentlemen, this was fun. And I really appreciate you for coming out tonight, hanging out with me and giving me your opinions. It's always welcome and appreciated. Did y'all have any final words for the good people that are listening to the show right now or watching?
good luck to everybody else in the playoffs that's still pushing, and good job to those who fell a little short last week. Next season's coming. It's a whole another game. So.
Arizona, I love y'all, man. Not ready to go home yet. I'm gonna do everything I can to prepare us to hopefully move on. I'm sure Florida's doing the same thing. May the best team win, and hopefully that's us.
Indeed. As Mighty would say, this is going to be a lemon booty game. I think it's going to be lemon booty all around, to be honest with you. But can't wait to talk to you guys about this next time. Probably have a few more panelists on. But until then, looking forward to bringing y'all another great podcast next week. But y'all remember, stay safe, treat each other well. For Diggy, for Eddie, Striker, we're out. And cut. Okay.
Didn't say nothing for me.
Huh?
She usually says recording stopped. It still shows recording up there.
Recording stopped.
No, it's still recording.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah, I think she slick. I didn't even good catch, Diggs. I didn't even catch that.
Dang it,
situational awareness. You slipping, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm slipping, man. Slipping.
Now, I told you last week I was going to be doing SFLm games and I was going to be doing playoffs. I told you that.
Well,
Eddie did.
I was a bit busy putting my priorities in order, making sure our playbook was good to go for this weekend. So,
I mean, you could, yeah, but the playbooks was submitted on Thursday. The games was on Friday. SFLm games was on Friday.
But then I had to recuperate from being fatigued from putting in the playbooks. So I had to get some rest.
Games over with like what, 10 o'clock?
When you put as much emotion into it as I do, you are drained and you don't have time for much of anything else.
That's why you got ginseng. That's why you got Red Bull. It gives you wings. That's what you're supposed to do.
That shit ain't good for you.
Yeah, well, you know.
I got you covered, Eddie. I did a little bit for each one for you.
See, there you go. See? That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Diggy. Thank you. Jeez, right? Over there eating chicken wings and they looking good and you ain't asked.
I know, he's got that money. He's got the money. I saw a bag of chicken wings and, you think go to Sam's Club or something like that, they'd be cheap. It was like $40-$60 for, I said, that's too much for me.
Hell yeah. It's crazy. This is ridiculous. And I thought that this inflation thing would have went down, but apparently, somebody's making too much money for it to go down. So I don't, honey.
Not me.
Yeah, well, you did.
Speaking of inflation and stuff and people getting ticked off about stuff.
Uh-oh.
I saw that video you put in that bed together. You was calmer than I would have been. Them little Allen wrenches they give you for that stuff, just big enough to get a half a spin in, and it's knocking and not going in, or it don't line up right. I'd have done been cussing and broke it. Took like 3 breaks from it. No. So good job on it, though.
I appreciate it. Listen, I know exactly what you're talking about because I just put together my daughter's bed, and she has an iron bed. And when I tell you those little lug nuts are so small, like I already can't see. And now I'm trying to put it on the screw and try to screw. I just made it so it's nice and stable. My baby ain't gonna fall, but that got on my nerves. But
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
But thanks.
So that one day she jumps in it and breaks off on the floor.
Look, listen, I told her disclaimer. This is not a jumping bed. If you want to go to jump, there's a trampoline park not too far from here. We can go do that, but nah.
That lasted about 5 minutes after you walked out of the room. And then she was jumping on.
Hey, but it's still built. So apparently, everything's all good. See, now you over there hiccuping. Oh my God. All right, guys.
Hold on, I gotta go grab some water real quick. I'll be right back.
I
You
figured.
might as well stop recording.
Yeah. I'm gonna pause. What is up, SFL Nation? And welcome back to SFL Nights with A.J.Striker.
Wait, hold up.
Day and tonight.
My bad.
What
You gotta start
the
that
hell?
one over. I just realized my clothes, my wife left me sitting right here in the camera.
Okay.
All right, let's go. My bad.
You could be folding that. I mean, you already got the while we do the show.
Crazy. All right. 3.
Hey, Eddie, you want to see something? Eddie, hang on just a second.
We only got 40 minutes in this room. Y'all
I got my own bag, bro. I got my own bag.
That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't do that shit either.
Oh. But y'all on strike? We're doing. Look, I'm not even going. All right. 3, 2, 1. What is up, SFL Nation? And welcome back to SFL Nights with A.J.Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decided to hit that play button or turn on a radio dial. Really appreciate it, y'all. And look who I have here with me, joining me tonight on my playoff / SFLm panel this evening. I have, of course, my coach, co-owner. Right now, he's so deep into the playbooks, I bet you didn't even know we started. Mr. Eddie Cage, how are you?
I'm chilling, Nancy. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. Always good to see you. And then I have my Diggy. What's going on, bro?
I'm glad to be back. Not a lot. Oh. Somebody about to go get some snacks. Getting in the fridge.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you had to pick it. You know what? This is just going AWire right now. I'm just going. All this is going to be a part of the bloopers.
Mine did it the other day. I made some brownie stuff and put it in the fridge for the old lady when she got off. And I get up, tell me half that tray wasn't gone. Yeah, he snuck out of his room after he was supposed to be in bed, ate half that tray of brownies.
Was his stomach hurting?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Ooh,
He's a garbage
honey.
disposal.
Oh, just like him. Awesome. Take 5. I don't even know what take this is. Okay. Y'all sure? Y'all good? Everybody good? Eddie?
Just open up a new one. Close this one out and open up a new one.
Yeah, might as well, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Be right back. Bye. Oh, man.
I was just about to reveal some stuff too. I'm glad I didn't.
Okay, well, let me just go ahead and turn it off, man. Bye,
You
y'all.
know you paying attention to that every time.
You should. You should. Bye, y'all.
Later.